not every deal is so like life impactful.
You put the home on the market, you found a buyer that's willing to be patient, getting her in a park where park approval is almost impossible. You get park approval without having a job. That in itself is a very difficult task, and a lot of agents out there would realistically, this is impossible.
Yeah.
Right? But what kind of put it all together?
You're working with just regular citizens and Americans and middle-class families that are just trying to get a piece of like the American dream, which is just to own some sort of equity or real estate or property just to pass on to their kids to create this generational wealth. I'll be in this for a while.
I think it's very important that the listeners realize like what it is that we do and why it is that what we do is special. You know, I came to realize I'm also so privileged to be in this situation that we're in, helping families.
Welcome to the mobile home movement, where we showcase the beauty and affordability of mobile homes. Here we break false myths and share all the positive stories of how mobile home ownership transforms lives. I'm Franco Perez, and this is the Mobile Home Movement.
What's up, everyone? Today we are on another episode of the Mobile Home Movement. It's been a while. We've been busy. We have a lot to talk about today. So today we have a special guest. We have Sunny.
So special.
So special. We haven't had more guests, more appearances outside of Sunny. So today we are going to get caught up with a lot that's been going on. Actually, recently realizing that Sunny has hit a record on transactions last month, or not even, the month's not even over yet.
This month. So as of this week, once all of my other 2 deals closes and stuff, for this month, I will close 10 transactions. Yeah. And that's never happened to me before. I don't know how that happened, but very grateful. And I'm very glad for my team and stuff. And Coco.
Freaking killing it. Yes. And then having Coco on your team has been a great...
A blessing.
Yeah, having your first assistant and seeing you grow is amazing. So, cool. Mm-hmm. Today, let's talk about there's a few stories we're going to talk about, and then I want to kind of touch on HL Peninsula. I want to talk about another revelation that I talked about with you with meeting someone at pickleball yesterday. But tell me about... I think it's very important that the listeners realize like what it is that we do and why it is that what we do is special, right? And I don't want to just like toot our horn and that type of thing, but there's so many instances. Hey, maybe 70% of our deals could happen even if we weren't around, but there's a lot of instances where they're unique cases. And I know for a fact that I see you work with difficult situations, and somehow, because our team is experienced with this, does have great relationships with this, knows how the paperwork and how all the transaction unfolds, because of that knowledge and that experience, you're not just a regular agent, but you are able to make miracles. You are exactly.
I'm not a regular agent. I'm a cool agent.
Exactly, and you're able to make what could be a no deal in many cases, and you're able to help it become a deal, right? So there's one case in particular, there's, and there's so many like this, but one was Christina. Christina is a
73-year-old Korean ajama, which is like an old lady and everything. I cashed in all of my karma points on this transaction. I did so much praying. I feel like because of this transaction, I became way more religious. Because I wanted to help her so bad.
Oh man. So I mean, basically, let's talk about her situation, because financially she's not making a lot of money. She lives in a mobile home. She still has payments. Her payments are higher than what she can afford, and she's kind of in a situation where she's going under, right? So that all being said, she attempted with another previous agent that she was referred to by her family friend in the past, and they failed at getting her home sold, and she's been stuck.
Yeah.
So what kind of happened there?
So I had met Christina maybe about like 2 years ago at an open house, and I've like, this is when I first started to kind of kept in touch. She, like 2 years ago, that's when she started her search. She wanted to sell her mobile home. Back then, I think her rent was about $1,500. And then she said and then she had a mortgage payment. She wanted to sell her home in order to like downsize to something more affordable, preferably in a 55 and up park where the space rent is more manageable. Kept in touch, but she ultimately went with just a regular real estate agent that she met through church and that her son knew. So listed it with him. I actually showed her home, I guess like when she first listed it with him, and then all she could say was just like really good things about just our interaction and everything. And I was really happy for her when her house ended up pending, but the pending was like 2 months long. Then afterwards, she kind of like told me later that it was dragged out. The residential real estate agent didn't know the park approval process, so didn't vetted the buyer to see if they were going to make park approval or not. So at the end of the day, deal fell through. Market kind of really slowed down by that point because at the end of the year. Reconnected with her earlier this year. Same plan, downsize, needs to pay. And then the more I'm working with her, the more I realize I'm like, she's in $30,000 worth of credit card debt. She's 73. She only has like $5,000 in her savings account. She just like left her job, like not voluntarily, but she had to because they wouldn't give her time off, but she needed to get stomach surgery. So there were just so many obstacles throughout the entire process. She missed a couple like credit card payments because of the surgery. So it kind of lowered her credit score. So there was just so many things up against us because we could sell her home, but then like, could we find her a home, another one where she could get into the park and everything?
So to get back into it, basically, to simplify it, she was in a very debt
hole.
She was in a big debt hole. She had kind of impossible needs, which was she needed to sell her home, but also buy a home, but not be able to sell it unless she found a home that she liked and could afford and have a comfortable monthly payment,
and
which was
park approval
and could get park approval without having a job.
Yeah.
Right, and that in itself is a very difficult task, and a lot of agents out there would realistically be saying this is impossible, right? But you were able to get that situation, analyze it, put the home on the market, and you had your pool of buyers, your connection of agents within the industry, and people don't realize a double close, which is somebody selling their home to buy a home, it's very rare and it's very difficult to execute. It's very low feasibility. And to be able to get that to work out in a difficult market like we are today, it takes a lot of work, a lot of attention to detail, and one single mess up can cause a domino effect of that whole transaction falling apart. So I need people to realize like how complex this is, because if one of the 12 parties, the lending, the park, the buyers, the sellers, and then the other buyers and the sellers, if one of those things fall apart, this whole transaction's a no deal. And this is that whole thing that I talk about where, because we have these resources around the mobile home space, it becomes a huge value for people that are not capable of executing this. So you put the home on the market, you found a buyer that's willing to be patient enough to allow Christina to find another home. Finding another home was also a whole big ordeal and a mess because her finances were short. Getting her in a park where park approval is almost impossible, getting that problem solved, having health issues and income issues and not being able to show finances and that type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But because of your knowledge of where we can put her, what parks would take her, you were able to find her a home in Fremont
Mm-hmm.
that is in a senior community that fit her budget and allowed for that. And you allowed for that. You enabled that seller to understand your situation and accept that offer, which is very hard in this market. They accepted that offer on a contingency sale. So there's two sales depending on each other. And with that, they got the offer accepted. They waited for the Sunnyvale home to close, and then the Fremont home to close, all on at the same time. So it took 2 park approvals to match up, and a lot of stuff that needed to get done. But what kind of put it all together?
I'm exhausted just rehearing and summarizing all of it again, but I think what happened, or what really made it happen, was just because I couldn't have done this without Coco, honestly, but our drive to like just want to help her and everything, it got to the point where I wrote a love letter to the park, to the 55 and up park. I'm like, please, like this is the whole situation, like can you help? And of course, like Christina was able to get park approved based on their guidelines and everything, but another part was just, I think the stars just aligned, because the inventory's been pretty low this year, and the ones that did pop up that she liked was like way above budget and everything. So what happened with this one was it actually fell out like 4 days before, got put back on the market, and then that's when we saw it. We went straight there. Cause like Coco picked Christina up, went to Fremont, like we really liked it. We signed an offer like right away and everything. And then after that, it was kind of just balancing like the patience of both parties on the buyer side.
I want to touch on that because you identified a home that is an opportunity. And what people don't realize is that you had that level of urgency because of the sense of care. And this is something that I'm so proud of our team, and I keep bringing this up, but you genuinely care for Christina. Yeah. She cooked for us.
I know.
And she's such a kind person. And, you know, we wanted to make this work for her because she was going to get evicted. She didn't have enough money to keep her home. But anyways, you found that care and that drive, and you wanted to resolve that solution. So you identified the opportunity, and you had that level of urgency. It's like, shoot, we got to run now. You know, you guys had to act as a team, get an offer made within that short period of time before anyone else saw that home on the market.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, and keep in mind, Christina's not a strong buyer. No. She doesn't have money in bank. She has debt, that type of thing. But you were able to get a situation, you know, you leveraged your relationships with the parks and your relationships with the agent to make this work, which was really cool. Yeah. And it was just a lot of, like, every team meeting, I'm like, and when we had to give an update on each transaction, I'm like, guys, thoughts and prayers, please pray for me, Coco and Christina. But like overall, I think this year that transaction just stood out the most, because it just I really feel like we made a difference, because after everything closed and everything, she like called you and she was telling like how we have impacted her, but also being able to hear that she paid off all her credit card debt, paid off her car, she can take time going back to work, and she was sitting pretty on like $50,000-$60,000 worth of savings now. Just made me feel like really good. Yeah, you turned her debt into an upside down situation where she has money in her bank and now can feel comfortably safe monthly, and now being able to create a huge impact on her life. And that would not have happened with any other agent out there. That would not have happened if, you know, she went with another, you know, friend of a friend agent or that type of thing, because you know, to be honest with you, I don't even think I could have been able to execute that myself. And but with those, you know, I think, like you said, it stands out. You were able to help her lifestyle change and improve. So very proud of you for that.
Thanks. And I think it's a good story to tell because a lot of the stigma that comes with mobile homes that my friends have or like people that I know have, I tell them the story and they're like, what? Like you can actually build equity and like change your life and sell it and whatever and not take a loss and everything. Then I'm just like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many myths on mobile homes that we can dive on. But I think, you know, when the time comes, when people are looking to sell or not sell, choosing, you know, who you work with genuinely really matters, right? And who she chose to work with, and she has experience working with another agent that talked themselves up, that said all of these great things, and they might be a great agent in real estate, but they weren't able to help her out in the mobile home world. So choosing who you work with, working with someone like you that genuinely will care, that genuinely will, you know, identify opportunities and have urgency and know when it's the time to apply pressure or not apply pressure, right? It's like, hey, this is an important home. You have to take a chance at this versus this is an okay home. I don't think we should push this, right? And really listening to her. And in the end, she called me. She told me she couldn't believe how much she helped her, thought it was impossible. You know, she had like tears of joy and like that type of thing. And it was really a beautiful, beautiful moment. So double closes, contingency sales, those are super complex. And I think, you know, knowing that that's something that can be done here because we do have an insight of mobile home and that's our main focus. You were able to make that happen and our goal is to continuously do that and create more opportunities like that might not be an opportunity and be able to make the impossible possible, just like you
do it again. I'm just tired.
Exactly.
But yeah, I really love Christina, and it was I don't know how the stars aligned. It was like a low turnover park and everything too. She has like fruit trees and everything. She keeps trying to feed me when we close.
But I do want to touch on kind of your growth too, because you mentioned Coco. What's kind of changed? Because we talked a little bit about this before, but you know, when you started, you were super scatterbrained, had anxiety around every small decision. And then now I'm starting to see, well, you've hired your first assistant about a year ago or so, or how long ago was that?
She started March 28th.
Oh, okay. So just like 4 months ago.
Like 5
months ago? Okay. So with that, what's kind of changed? Because I've seen something change with you. Like you're no longer an independent agent. You now have, an assistant, and somehow you've became more of a leader / role model / operational side of things and
my
organization.
Synapses have formed. Neural pathways have formed.
There you go.
No, but I was telling Franco because I'm like, my favorite saying is I always try to keep his expectations of me low because all I can do is like exceed them and everything. That's just like my favorite saying. But yeah, I just feel like the first 2 years it was just like me and of course a team and everything, but everything was like living up here. Everything was like living up here, and my organization, I could kind of afford to not be so organized, scatterbrained, and not implement so many processes because ultimately those who would be affected and everything would be me because I was just working by myself and like the collaborating agent on the other side and whatnot. But when I started working with Coco, it was like not her purpose of joining the team and working for me was to gain real estate experience. So I really felt like I was responsible for her growth and understanding and stuff. So it really made me think like, okay, out of all the things that I learned, how do I like streamline it so that I don't overwhelm her, because I was pretty overwhelmed when I first started, whether it was like disclosures, organizations, processes, timelines, workflow, and everything. But then I wanted us to kind of work as a tag team where if I say something, I need something, she knows automatically where to get it, how to get it, and we can work independently from each other, but then we'll also like be on the same page together too. So I think this year has just been a really character building and growing year, both mentally and just process wise, because a lot of the things I learned from corporate, I feel like because I was kind of so scatterbrained the first 2 years trying to make it in real estate, that now I'm finally able to manage my stress and anxiety enough to take what I learned from corporate and project management and actually implement it into like, let's say, like a Google Sheets and stuff.
Yeah.
All color coded and all pretty and stuff.
Exactly. And I see that recently. It's like, because like as a small business or whatever you choose to call it, you have your own business on your own, right? But when it's just yourself, it was really just yourself and then me teaching you when you need that type of thing. And then it all of a sudden became this thing where now you're the teacher. It's really different because when you work alone, you have a lot of belief and understanding of how your brain works and how things work in your head. But as soon as there's another party involved, like Coco, your assistant, then it's now how do you, and it again goes to your care in your character, is how do you teach as much as you can and prioritize what to teach and allow to give that real estate experience to Coco, right? And you did that. You became a leader. You gave her the insight on every single step that you took. She shadows you, that type of thing. And it's really cool seeing you have that care for also somebody that can now help someone in the future. And she's now growing. She just passed her real estate license. Exactly. So
I'm so happy for her.
So we're seeing a lot of that side of things, and then you're starting to get your operations side of your business going too, which is like the Google Sheets, the processes. You create screen recordings of how is it that you maximize a listing, promoting it, flyers, MLS, all of that stuff.
Yeah, I think now it's like teaching our team how to do a listing appointment too. And I remember when you told me, because I was so not opposed to it, but I was really scared to take on an assistant because I'm like, what if I don't have enough work for her to do? But then you said that it's kind of like having a child, even though Coco's older than me, wanting the best for them, kind of honing in your skills and prioritizing, and kind of just growing up in a way and growing into my role more and everything, because it does make me feel so proud when, let's say, she passed her real estate exam, or she's able to get a lead, and then all these things. And then with Martine, who's another member on our team and everything, I was just showing him my scripts and we were just role playing. And then what took me 6 months to land my first listing, he got on his first try. And I'm I'm so proud of you, but what the heck, it's so cool.
Well, I love that, our whole team kind of shares knowledge and gives each other opportunities, and that's great. So basically, that's amazing. And I wanted to touch on another thing. I know we're running out of time, but I was telling you, it's quite fascinating because I was really coming down to why we love mobile homes so much, why we are so passionate about mobile homes and that type of thing. And I didn't really realize it myself. And then I played pickleball last night, and I ran into an old coworker when I was getting into whether it's residential or commercial real estate stuff. I was, there was a fork in the road where I was going to do office, commercial, work with business owners and do, and it looked like a ton of money that I was going to be able to make. They actually gave me a great job position with guaranteed money and high commissions. But I dropped out of that, and I decided to just full dive into mobile homes. And seeing him and catching up with him, which was 3-4 years ago since I saw him, it was fascinating because he was so, I don't want to call anyone out there, but he was very unfulfilled. He was kind of depressed, made good money, cool, but wasn't happy, gained a ton of weight, that type of thing. And I came to realize, like, I'm so glad I didn't go that route, and I'm also so privileged to be in this situation that we're in, helping families. We get direct feedback to be able to see the impact we make in these families, such as Christina, such as each client that we see and change their life. And I'm not shy to say this, but we make significantly less than a regular real estate agent on each transaction, and we do more work. In many ways, right? So doing more work, making less, logically that doesn't make any sense. But I think the missing element of that is the energy that we get when we help a family, and the fulfillment and the compensation in that energy. Like, I don't think you made much on that Christina situation.
No, I did not.
But knowing that you made an impact on her life and made a big difference, that is like a lifetime. Like, if people could do that once in their lifetime, that can be a highlight of their life.
Yeah.
Right? But I see this with you doing that, these great, amazing life success stories 3-4 times a month, making it. 10 times a month. I mean, this month. Yeah. And I'll say not every deal is like a life-changing deal, maybe, it's not. But you have like half or 40% of those deals really be life-changing, right? And having that happen is probably the most fulfilling thing, in not chasing the money. And I'm so happy to be in this position. I don't know if you are too, but I couldn't have asked for a better role than helping people in the mobile home space and making an impact in the mobile home space in so many different avenues of that. And at some point, the energy fulfillment is probably the best thing ever, right? Because yes, we have to do so many more transactions to make as much as a regular real estate agent would, but we're so energized and wanting to help more and more situations like that.
Yeah, and I always tell you, and I always tell like all my friends too, like I really found my life purpose here. And like, because growing up I always thought I wanted to be a doctor, because I always wanted to help people. But then like the type of doctor I wanted to be is like helping like third world countries, and if you know how much medical school costs, and I couldn't study for it, so I'm like, okay, so what do I do? And when I finally reached out to you to start to do mobile homes, it was supposed to be a practice, but I just feel like I'm making such a difference. And like you said, not every deal is so like life impactful, but in a way it kind of is, just because you're not working with any investors, you're working with just regular like citizens and Americans and middle class families that are just trying to like get a piece of like the American dream, which is just to own some sort of equity or real estate or property just to pass on to their kids to create this generational wealth and stuff. And like, and for me to just be able to practice my Vietnamese and help like my people, but not only that, but just regular people, like you said, in residential, just helping the rich get richer, just business people and everything. I just find it really rewarding.
I love that.
So I don't think I'll be in this for a while. But
How cool. And to finish off, I wanted to touch a bit on our event that we had
HL Peninsula.
at HL Peninsula in Milpitas. I think that is something that was long overdue. It was great to gather the people we work together with, and just broadcast, what it is that our team has been working on, success stories of the families that you have worked with. And it was a great turnout. I mean, we had the Vietnamese news there.
I know.
We had a lot of our investors there, our friends, and park management, people in the industry. And it was a really cool event, and to be able to touch on, now being able to work with ADUs or work with primary houses and do that construction element, and just also show the world, like you said, how beautiful mobile homes could be, how sexy it could be financially, how it's a home start for so many families, showcasing the beautiful homes, but also showcasing that we have super ultra affordable homes, right? And
the food was so good.
the food was good.
So good.
You know, it's just great to be able to treat everyone that we're grateful for.
Yeah. And everyone's energy was just really nice too.
Our team did a good job. Tong organized a lot of the event. And we broke a lot of rules that the restaurants didn't want us to do. They told us we can only park 2 cars out front, but we had 4 pink vehicles in front.
I think it was a good photo moment. If anything, it was like good promotion for that.
That's kind of just who we are as a company. Is sometimes, as long as we're not hurting anyone, we'll break rules sometimes.
Yeah.
But anyways, I saw the Vietnamese video, and it's
did you?
Yeah, and
how was my Vietnamese? I was stuttering.
Well, to me, your Vietnamese was amazing, but I didn't understand a word.
Oh, so. Perfect.
So, but I mean, I think with that, you know, I think it was great to be able to show the world these success stories of families that you helped, that that I've helped, that our team has helped.
And my parents too.
Yeah, and your parents were there, and it was great to kind of get. You know, it is our goal with these events and with these podcasts and with your Instagram and all of this is to really just, not sell anything, but show the world how much of a difference mobile homes can make, right? In each individual family, in each middle class family, in an older person that might need to downsize in payments, there is so much value and potential in mobile homes, and it really is a sexy thing, and it's something that shouldn't be looked down on. It's something that shouldn't be ignored. It's something that really deserves all the attention that it can get. And that's why we put out all this effort in making these videos and these events and that type of thing, because we want everyone in the mobile home space, mobile home owners, to be proud of what it is that they have in the MH space, and to really change the world in that way. So we'll end it at that. And thanks so much, listeners, for always kind of supporting us and listening and everything like that. So we will end it here. If you haven't already, hit like, subscribe, whatever it is that you do, and thanks all for watching.